Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio on 104.5 KCZW LP Conroe and 106.1 KZCC LP Conroe, and worldwide on irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon, everybody. You're listening to The Cindy Cochran Show, and so happy that you are, and you're seeing The Cindy Cochran Show. If you are on YouTube right now, and go to YouTube, The Cindy Cochran Show, and on Facebook, the Lone Star Community Radio Facebook has us on there live streaming so that you can see, but it'll be on especially right after this show. It comes on, and then it's just there for eternity. And then you can come back and watch it and listen to it. And you'll want to, because today we have Denton Florian. Yes, I know it. I know. He's back. And it's so exciting. And I thought we'd never be able to get him back too much later. And then he's going to be voted, I'm sure, a write-in for something someday. And we're going to lose him. No, I know, because Silver Rock, because they've already decided that you're going to run for something. And they have all the power over there.
Have you talked to them? Have you talked to Mike and Brian?
They're going to be on the 15th.
Okay, well, good.
That's right, you are. Don't even think about calling me and saying, no, Cindy, we're not. No, they're going to be on the 15th. And, it was so funny. I was there editing at that, in the Silver Rock production studios. We were editing, and I said, what's that noise? Because we were trying to get some voiceover work, and it was kind of noisy. And they went, well, you're going to have to wait, because Dinesh, that's how you say his name. Dinesh, what's his last? Is that his last name or his first name? Dinesh is all I can get at. Okay. Anyway, so D is upstairs doing a podcast, and I went, he's here? What? And I said, yeah, he comes in and does the podcast over here. And I went, for crying out loud, you guys, can you get him on?
I don't think that's really out there too much.
Where he is? You shouldn't have told me. So too bad. Well, I didn't even have his last name, so it's okay. Oh, boy. Richard loves this. Okay. Anyway, they may not come on now. They may say, well, you didn't tell me.
Just deny everything.
Yeah, you didn't tell me not to say anything. I'm sorry. But anyway, but they've gotten so many great people to come through there. And it was funny that Craig Campobello was there doing stuff whenever is that where you met Craig, or did you already know him? I met Craig
at Silver Rock. Yeah, he was cutting a commercial and for an auto parts store or something. And at the time, we had made a decision when we were doing the documentary on Sam Houston that we were looking for the voice of Sam. And we were in the edit suite, and all of a sudden Brian we heard this voice from the studio, the next room where they were filming everything, and Brian's like, shh, Sam's here. We said, what? And he said, shut up, listen. And we heard his voice, so we all got up and stuck our head around the door and listened to him, and
sure
it was
enough.
Craig, and we were like, that'll work. And the funny thing is, I think I've told you this, but I said, well, okay, who is this guy? Does he care anything about Texas history? Is he going to be offended when I tell him how much I can afford to pay him and all that? And, he was 5 years into the Lone Star Flag Park up here, and I was 5 years into Sam, and we weren't 10 miles apart from one another, but neither one knew the other one. So it was pretty wild. Yeah, it was good. But he came in and laid everything down in like one take. I mean, it was amazing.
Oh, boy, people that can do that, it's amazing.
But he was in radio for a long time. Craig was in radio for almost 30 years.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he was a natural, in front of a microphone and everything. And I'll tell you, the hard part, I thought this was going to be one of the easiest parts of making the film was the voices, and it was one of the most difficult. You can either do it or you can't. And I have a friend who has a beautiful Southern Mississippi drawl, and I thought, wow, it's a perfect voice. I want that voice. But you get the microphone in front of them, and your line would be something like, hey Cindy, let's go have lunch under the shade of that tree over there. You got it? Yeah, you ready? Yeah, okay. Hey Cindy, let's go have lunch under the. You're like, no. And they can't do it. So we got some. I hired radio people. Said we'll get there. They're not going to freak out in front of a microphone. And,
Right.
But then I got the DJ voice. Hey Cindy, let's go have lunch. And you're like, no. And they cannot shut that off.
Yeah.
They can't.
I know.
So
When you let
we
me-
got actors, and Craig did a lot of acting, and
Yeah.
they can give you British Cockney, Southern Mississippi,
Sure.
West Texas, Jersey, whatever you want. You tell them what you
Yes.
need, and here it comes. And it was very easy after that. So I learned to hire actors.
Well, I'm so glad you said that now and not when I was getting ready to do the PBS spot for it, that you were that picky. To do it, I was like, oh boy, I get to be on the documentary and realize, man, you were hard on those people.
I was not hard. I was we needed to get it, and it was. I was expecting it to be real easy, and it wasn't. So
No, voiceovers is great. I can at Time Warner, I do it like in one take. I just go in there and do it because I was having to do it all the time.
Right.
And then when I got over to Silver Rock, we had to start doing stuff, and somebody wanted me to do voiceover, something that was very serious, and then this. It was just, and then trying to get to have them love your voice or what you did. They had it in their mind. They knew what they wanted, and they try and explain it to you. And you'd have to do it all different ways to make sure, like, is this a little more homey? Just be a little bit more homey. And so that was hard. It's difficult to do to fit what they wanted what they're seeing in their mind, what they're hearing in their head, and to make it work. But it is, and somebody choosy as you are, wanting perfection, I get it. I understand that. That's good, because it did come out perfect.
well, we got
it was
it. We got
good.
it. It came out. We got it.
But the Southern accent is funny, because I worked so hard to get rid of the Texas accent. And in the first voiceover I did, they wanted a Texas drawl because they thought I'd have that like naturally. And that's hard to come. Once you lose that, I've got some of it back, but I lost it because I just spoke in an English accent all the time to get rid of it. That's what somebody said. That's what you do, is you talk in a completely different accent, and then eventually you'll lose it. Okay, fine. All right, so now I talk like I'm from Jersey. It's fine. But if you want to talk about what's happening today, that's what I want you here in your head for, and all your knowledge that you have is historically in Texas, how we vote, how we've gone, which way we lean, and all that stuff. And now all the prognosticators, boy, that's hard to say quickly, are now, pulling us one way. But they've got this really close poll that they came out with not long ago. Now, I think it's certainly widened now. But before, you guys start, wait a minute, are we going back? Are we going back blue? Are we staying red? Are we in purple land now, or what? What do you think?
Well, I tell you, the Hispanics and particularly black men also are swinging right.
Right.
In fact, Governor Abbott is going to be down in the Valley. I don't know if he's going to be in. I think he's going to be in McAllen. He isn't going to be in Austin when they announce when the returns come in. He's going to be down there with the 3 Latina representatives, Republican representatives, and so the what's going on right now is deeply offensive to many Hispanic voters, and they're swinging to the right, and so are black men, and that's a problem for the Democrats. They're going to have to. You listen to these guys talk about it, and they talk about it in terms of that you and I can't say. They will. You listen to Ben Carson or somebody like certainly Candace Owens or whoever, many of the others that are. Larry Elder and some others, and
Yes.
they will say, "Oh no, we are. Our people need to get off the plantation." That's the words they use to
Right.
say, "Look, we've We've been loyal. We've been there, and and we're getting nothing out of this deal. And so, what we can do is just sit back and let them say it, because we can't say that. But they feel very strongly about it, and
Right.
that's a problem, I think, for the Democrats. They can't let that slip very far.
Well, you have to be careful when you start getting into the family with the Hispanics, because they're very strong family, oriented, and to start talking about you're going to let the teachers, without the parents knowing, talk to them about, do you really feel like you're a boy, or is it you want to be a girl? It's okay. If you want to be a girl, you can be a girl. So start doing that kind of stuff. You mess with that, then you've taken this to a whole different level in the world and everything else that they're not going to put up with.
Well, that's a problem. And listen, if you need to talk to a kindergartner or a first grader about sex, you're a pervert.
Yeah.
Amen. Period.
Amen.
And if they can get you to agree that a boy can become a girl or a man can get pregnant, then they have total control over your mind. You will believe anything. They've got you. Mm-hmm. And that's where we are with so many of them.
And whether or not
testifying
they
in front of Congress, do you believe a man can get pregnant? Oh, yes. What's the matter with you that you don't believe that?
And for you to say that, you've hurting all the LBGP.
The Hispanic, you're right. They're strongly pro-life. The family is important to them. And
faith?
frankly, the people, 3.8 million people that have streamed across the border since Joe Biden has become president, the ones that came here legally, that did it the right way and stood in line and filled out the paperwork and did all that, and now they probably feel like fools. They probably feel pretty stupid because, gee whiz, all I had to do was, we've got a totally open border, a totally porous border, and we see these people pouring into the country, these drugs pouring into the country, and then you hear Vice President Harris say, "Oh, the border's closed." Yeah, sure it is. What's the matter with you?
Right.
And so people are they're watching with their own eyes. They're listening to what these people are saying, but they're watching with their own eyes, and they're going, "Oh, don't believe what your lying eyes are telling you." No. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Look
Right.
over here. And people, it's going to bite them tonight. It's going to bite them hard.
I think so too. I think it's going to be everybody's going to get woke up tonight. That's what I think, that the awakening that's going to happen. I love the picture of, in the Woodlands, the boy that's sleeping in the ground.
Right. The statue.
Yeah. And when 9/11 happened, they took that picture and said, "You have awakened the sleeping giant." And I think that's so true. I think people, especially because there's so many different categories. If there was just one category, we'd all be worried. If there was just one thing that somebody did wrong, but we can fix that. Give us 2 more years. Give us 4 more years. We're going to fix all that. But this is something, there's so many different categories that are hurting us, and that we can't, we're faced with every single day that you can't get around. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, or whatever. You are affected, unless you're rich enough to where it doesn't bother you that much. The inflation
is at a 43-year high.
Right.
Call it 40 to round it down. I'll give you the error. And the groceries and gasoline and hit the poor the hardest. Mm-hmm. And you're trying to say, "Oh, everything's fine, the economy's strong." Well, people go to the grocery store and they fill up their car, and they know better. They're not stupid. And if you live in the Northeast, where down here we heat our homes with electricity or natural gas, right, and up there, you have a tank outside your house and you have heating oil, and when you fill that up, we have something like 27 days worth of diesel fuel left now.
Yes.
A 27-day supply. Doesn't mean we'll run out in 27 days, but still our capacity for producing diesel fuel, it's going to make diesel very expensive.
Right.
And diesel is made with, I'm not a chemical engineer, but I understand the same molecule that heating oil is. So heating oil come this winter is going to be very expensive and that's going to impact voters up north.
And it will impact groceries for the
everything.
The truckers will say, "We can't do this anymore. Y'all are going to have to get a bike for us because we can't move anything anymore. That's what's so bad is because it's like when Biden shut down the pipeline and then first day and then stopped, and then so many things just domino effect that happened from that very first day. And it's like, I understand he was doing what the left wanted to do, and he wanted the green energy, and where we're kind of being forced. And then when the California governor goes, okay, in 2035 we're going to have, there's not going to be any more fossil fuel, and there's not going to be any more cars that are going to be running on gas, and it's going to be a great day. And I'm thinking of what are you doing?
We're going to go to all electric vehicles, but by the way, don't turn your air conditioner on because
that was the next sentence. That's what he talked about. Yeah, and you can only use that between 4 and 7, and that'll be fine. Oh my word! It just.
Well, the top 3 issues, according to the ABC poll that just came out, are the economy, meaning inflation, immigration, and crime.
Right.
And economy by 80%, immigration 77%, and crime 75%. The Republicans have a 14-point lead on the economy, a 20-point lead on immigration, and a 12-point lead on crime. It's
right.
Just
That's staggering.
Threats to democracy is number 6. It's way down the list.
Yep.
And so their messaging, I don't know. I'm not a political consultant, but if I were advising them, I'd go, your message and what is what the American people are concerned about are completely different.
Right. And then for one of the MSNBC anchors to come out and say, it's the Republicans that have pushed this word out there, inflation, but most people don't even know what that means, what inflation means. And so they push that out there to scare people, and it just, it's just a word that is really made up. But it was amazing. And that people that watch that believe in that anchor and believe that anchor would not lie to them and go
But they go to the grocery store and they go to the gas pump and they know better. They go, wait a minute.
Has she been out lately? Or that's what is amazing to us. You feel like a lot of these people are living in bubbles and they haven't had a hands-on and experience with the inflation.
I'm sensitive to this issue because I did my undergrad in economics at the University of Texas, and I know what inflation is, and I know what causes it, and I know how to stop it. And back in May a year ago, many of us were saying, I was saying, you cannot do this without inflation. We're going to have inflation. A period. It's going to happen. Oh, no, that's inflammatory rhetoric. It's that kind of, okay, well, come August, it's ticking up. Here it comes. And we have, oh, no, there's no inflation. You're racist. Okay. September and October, they couldn't deny it anymore. And they said, well, there's inflation, but it's transitory.
It's transitory.
It's not going to, I was like, it's not only here, semi-permanent, it's going to get a lot worse.
Yeah.
They said, 2022, it's going to go away. No, it's going to get a lot worse. And, sure enough, so here we are. And they don't want to hear that. And the hard part is inflation is, Milton Friedman used to talk about inflation being like alcoholism. He said, when you start drinking, all the good stuff happens first. You're feeling good, tongues are loose, the party is rolling, everybody's feeling good, and this is fun. The ravages of alcoholism come later, and they're terrible, and they're horrible. When you start printing money, all the fun stuff happens first. People love this. Oh, this is good. Yeah, this feels good. The inflation comes later. Now, if you want to get rid of inflation, it's like if you want to get sober. If you are a raging alcoholic, and you say, I'm going to get sober and straighten out my life, all the bad stuff happens first. You're going to go through DTs or whatever, and you're going to have to chemically detox and to get back on the wagon. All the bad stuff, hard stuff happens first before you get to health and before you get clean and you get your life straightened out. When you try to fix inflation, all the bad stuff happens first. and politicians don't have the patience or the political will to stick it out because they're thinking about the next election.
Right.
You know, and in the 70s, I remember the 70s, President Ford had his little whip inflation now, his little win buttons, and double-digit inflation was a household term. That was in our lexicon. And it wasn't until Reagan came along that we were able to get rid of inflation. And it took him 18 months, pushing 2 years, but really 18 months to, you know, the first 18 months of his administration weren't a lot of fun. You know, the numbers weren't very good.
Well, in taking America through the hard time to get to the better time, do you think that the Republicans, if they were to win, do you think that they've laid out a plan that's going to help get through this? I mean, that is really enough information to make us feel like this could happen?
I don't know. I'm an optimist by nature because I have to be, and because I want to be. I don't want to be one of these negative naysayers or anything. I think the all indicators, everybody I've listened to and talked to, you know, tonight's going to be a very strong night for the Republicans. They're easily going to win the House. They are almost certainly going to win the Senate, and all that. Whether if they're going to do anything or not, I don't know the answer to that.
Well,
once they have power, you know, the left is on offense 24/7, whether they're in the majority or the minority.
Right.
They don't care, and they have the media, and they have a lot going for them. But the Republicans are going to have to learn how to play offense, and whether they'll do anything with their majority, we'll find out. I don't know.
Well, I just don't want them to immediately get into let's have a trial on this and let's have a trial on that, and let's get the pipeline open, get the things going that you can. Now, that's what my question is, because the president would have to sign off on a lot of this stuff. Excuse me. And so, is that going to be, you know, slow everything down? Nothing's going to happen because he's going to veto everything.
The job of the majority and the job of the minority are very different. If you're in the minority, your job is largely stopping things. You know, and the Republicans were in the minority for 40 years until Gingrich took over in 1994. And so they didn't know how to drive an agenda. All they knew how to do was to stop things. And they had to have some training really on what do you do if you're in the majority. If you're in the majority, your job is to move your agenda. Your job is to pass legislation and drive things. And, you know, I am a constitutional conservative. I don't think we know how to do that very well. We seem to be on defense almost all the time. Our guys can't seem to put the ball in the end zone. And so we'll have the majority. Will we be able to execute? I don't know. I don't know if we'll have the will, or we'll see. I hope to heck I'm wrong. I hope they do. But
well, McCarthy came out and started laying out specifics, more specific. You know that the detail that he started laying out was better. You know, it was more understandable what they were going to try and do, because that started creeping in when it looked like they were going to have more power. Boy, you better tell me exactly what you're going to do with this power before I go stand in line and wait those many hours to vote for you guys.
I think a great agenda item for his commitment to America would be like term limits.
Amen.
There's an issue. There's a great issue because it has, and I need to look it up again to get the numbers exactly right. But it's on par with like 80% of the American people are in favor of this. Democrats, Republicans, Independents. So you got to ask, if 80% of the people are in favor of something, why don't we have it?
Right.
You know.
Right.
I personally don't think we're going to get a term limit proposal to the Constitution, to amend the Constitution, no matter who's in power. That's not going to come out of Washington, D.C.
Well, the word power messes you up real, because that's where they don't want to give up that power. And so why would they vote themselves out, or why would they vote for legislation?
Right, so put it on the agenda now. Put it in that commitment to say, if we're elected, we will.
I agree.
Put out of the Congress back. We will shove it out to the states, a proposal to have term limits. I would love to see that. You know,
Yeah.
Gingrich back in '94, he had very specific bills.
Yes.
And he said, this is what we're going to do in the first 100 days. We're going to pass this. We're going to pass that. We're going to pass this. You can Google it and see what he said. I haven't seen that this time. I've seen we're for jobs. You know, okay, I don't have a clue what that means.
Yeah.
I don't. And I don't claim to have read the whole thing word for word, but at first blush, it doesn't look like the contract with America in '94, which was very specific. We're going to vote this particular bill, this issue, and he got everybody signed on to it, and he won in a landslide.
Well, what's good is that they're talking more about what we're worried about than socially, you know, like the social aspect of things. Like, we could care less. I mean, it's not that we could care less, but it's just that until you get these other problems fixed, we can't worry about that. It's difficult for us to worry about sending $40 billion to Ukraine when I can't find any powdered milk for the baby.
Right.
You know, and so it's difficult for us to be real benevolent as a group. And that's sad because we want to help. We want the Ukrainians to do great. We want them to obliterate, you know, Russia and all that. But we have to take care of within our border that we can take care of to take care of our families and the things that are really messing up our country and dividing us all. Look at us and take care of us, and then let us go out and be benevolent.
Yeah. We got a lot of work to do, and we as a
Brother,
society
yeah.
need to decide how. You know, I think one of the things I would love to see that I think we need to see, and this is going to be an issue. I mean, after tonight or after the next couple of days, everybody's going to be talking about 2024.
Oh yeah.
You know, so however tonight comes out, they'll have their eyes on the presidential race, and we have these quote debates. And they're not really debates.
No.
They're glorified press conferences. We learn nothing. These are focus group tested talking points, and these people are very well coached on how to spit them out and deliver them. And everybody's on pins and needles wanting to see who makes a gaffe and who has the best one-liner
Right.
and all of that. It's ridiculous. Our great country is better than that. And we should have a debate to where get rid of the liberal moderator or the conservative moderator. We don't need a moderator. We need a timekeeper. And we ought to have a debate like the Lincoln-Douglas debates and say, let the two people that are asking, the two candidates that are asking the American people to loan them power, let them decide what the issues are and how long they're going to talk about them. You know, right now it's, Mr. Smith, what's your answer to the Middle East in 60 seconds?
Yes.
Mr. Williams, you have 30 seconds to respond. You know, are you kidding me? Really?
Yeah.
Come on.
That would be fun.
I think these
watch.
debates are ridiculous, and I think they need to be completely restructured.
And over 17 people
So
in
that we learn something.
Yes, that are trying to say something. That's
we
what's
need
so
to have
sad.
an adult conversation. We're facing some huge issues
Yes.
in our country, and we need to have an adult conversation without this ridiculous format and forum. Because right now they have, I don't know how many pages and pages of rules that are hashed out by who knows how many lawyers, everything from what color clothes you can be wearing to how tall the candidates must appear to be as seen from the audience, what you can have with you on the podium. What do I care what you have with you? If you need a pile of books and a 3-ring binder, then I learned that you need a pile of books and a 3-ring binder. What do I care? They ought to have a timekeeper, and they ought to just have a free-flowing conversation instead of this dog and pony show that we're subjected to today. I think it's ridiculous.
No, that's a great point. I think that if anybody has taken debate in school, and that's kind of like you always feel like
This is a debate?
yeah. The only debate I was ever in was whether a woman could be a president, and I won the debate. The judges said, okay, you won the debate. That'll never happen, but you won the debate. You know, and I was like so mortified that I thought I was going to be able to convince people that a woman would be a great president. And they said, no, it's just that you proved that legally she should be able to run and be able to stand up on the stage and talk about it and all that. But
Tony Condi Rice wouldn't be a good president.
oh my word! Oh, I
Tell me,
always
Nikki
wish
Haley
so
would
bad.
probably
Nikki
be
Haley,
a
yeah.
great- She was a governor. You know,
Yeah.
senators generally don't make good presidents. It's
But
a
the
very
governor,
different skill set. But
that's
a
right.
governor, I mean, you know, whatever you think of Jimmy Carter or Bill Clinton, they had been the chief executives of their state.
Mm-hmm.
They had executive experience that is
Right.
required. If you're a senator, especially if you've been a senator for 50 years,
Yeah, exactly.
that's a completely different skill set. I mean, look at LBJ. He was an incredible senator, but he just collapsed in the presidency, I think, because it's a different job. It's a different job.
Right. But Condoleezza Rice, I just always thought this is the one that will come up and stand.
Or somebody that appears
had
that's not
everything.
even on our radar yet. I think it could be somebody that shows up that we're not even thinking of yet.
Well, Gabby, maybe Gabby. I don't know what's her name. The one that has the white stripe in her hair, and she was in the military, and she was Democrat.
Tulsi Gabbard?
Huh? Who?
Tulsi Gabbard?
Yes, Tulsi. That's it. I don't know her first name. She is now is going and helping campaign with the Republicans. So she's had it with the Democrats, and so said,
You know, and Kevin McCarthy was at her wedding.
really?
They're very close friends,
Oh.
and his parents or her parents are good friends. I mean, so she's going to be well received and well placed, and
Yeah. Well, her military background, and she's got that attitude, like, don't even mess with me, like Nikki Haley. And Condoleezza Rice was so nice. She was just so brilliant that she could tear you totally down with her words and not
I
ever
loved
lay a
it when
hand.
she was in Moscow with on a delegation and they were talking with the Russians and everything, and she corrected one of the Russians. He used a wrong verb, or he conjugated it improperly or something. She speaks Russian, and she corrected she corrected the translator. The translator mistranslated what she said, and she corrected.
Oh, what?
And they're all like,
Can you
"What was
imagine?
this?"
I had no idea. You don't know what I'm talking
right.
about. That sounds. It was scary. That'd be scary. I loved her and thought that she would one day, besides playing the piano, that she would be able to, get up there and do something. But
She doesn't want the job. And
yeah,
that's
no,
fine,
and I
but-
don't certainly blame her after being through that. But the term limits is so sexy and attractive to everybody, because you want to get rid of these guys and be able to say, in 2 years you're out of here. And if they start, it's not as long as somebody putting them in there for 10, 15, or how many years.
Well,
that
here's
they put
what's
them in
different
there.
about it. It fundamentally changes the incentives that
Yes.
put pressure on politicians to
Yes.
behave the way they're behaving now. And if
Right.
you want to change their behavior, you have to change the incentives that are putting pressure on them.
Right.
And if I'm not going to be in office in 2 years, then I don't have to raise money. And I don't have to vote for your stupid bill.
Yes.
And so on and so on. And it just gives them a different perspective. We don't need people that have been there for 30 years.
And be
or
beholden
20
to all
right.
kind of
No.
corporations and things like that.
I think that's a game changer. And
That would be. That really would be. I think that's a great idea. Can you put that whenever you run for president, or what? What have we
yeah,
got
right.
you running for?
dog catcher would be closer to the mark. But
No, you have got to be.
look,
Oh.
we can talk to these people, and I think the time to talk to them it's past for the midterms. But come
Right.
2024, we need to somehow
Really?
get these people on the record. Will you pass term limits out of the Congress? Will you be on board with that? Will you support it? Will you sign on to
Will you
it?
sign off on it?
And
Yes.
then you don't need a convention of states. Then you bypass all of the huge Herculean effort to get it done through the states. But, the budget is going to continue to mushroom out of control. I don't care who's in power.
Right.
It's beyond that point, The people that are running, we got some good people that are running. But, if Morgan Luttrell gets elected, he's a great man. He's clearly a patriot and all the rest.
Oh,
But if
yes.
he or any of those the people that get elected tonight, if he does, he will be 435th of one house, of one branch of our government. That's
Right.
not exactly a monarchy. That's
No.
not exactly somebody with a whole lot of leverage so he can't do it on his own.
But we have to vet them so that we believe that they will go in there and they'll work together, and they're not going to try and overrule someone else. No, I think I've gone close to the Green Deal. The Green Deal is calling me. No, that's not what you're in there for. You're supposed to be helping get our energy and our get us dependent on ourselves instead of everybody else.
And the process was designed to force people to talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So, we've heard so much of this now that says, if we don't get our way, we will pack the Supreme Court. We will tear off the Electoral College. We'll get rid of the Electoral College. We'll pack the court. We'll abolish the filibuster. We'll burn down the system. Those are their words, not my words.
Right.
So you're like, okay, you talk about a threat to democracy. That's a threat to democracy.
Yes.
And the arrogance to say, if we don't get our way, we'll burn down the system. No, that's intolerable. That's un-American. You don't get your way in a republic all the time. You have to sit down and talk, and you have to hash things out. And we've largely lost the ability to do that. The system's not working anymore.
No, but we gotta change that. And so, it's up to is we gotta go vote. You gotta get up and go vote. And if you're just, please don't. If we're keeping you from going to vote, go ahead, go on and vote, because this is the day. And standing in line is nothing compared to what the people, the first responders, all the people that go out and fight for your freedom to do that, and for the military who's out there, doing all that so that we can vote. And
It's a privilege denied to many.
Oh, I'm telling you, yeah.
It's a duty. Everybody needs to vote. You need to do your duty.
Right.
Go get it done.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think that, and they talk about they think the Republicans are the ones that want to go in and push the button. They don't want to send in a ballot, or they don't want to, vote that way. But early voting is great. I don't know why everybody doesn't want to go to early vote, because there was a line, and I like standing in the line because you talk to the people, and it's real fun. But but going up there, it's so fast. It moves really well. It's not that bad.
It took me 10 minutes.
Yeah.
About early voted. And,
yes. And it's done. But I feel like going and just standing in the line, and then when I got up there, I'll turn around and go back because I've already voted. But just to be around it, the energy is great. Oh, it's wonderful. And if you're feeling lonely at all, go vote. And in the parking lot, as you're going up to get the vote, you will be surrounded and jumped by everybody that's so happy you're there, and they want you to vote for their person. And it's just so much, talking. Oh, it's great. You just feel so special. Like, oh my goodness, I feel like I'm really important. So, but you're very important to the voting system. You're very important. And I know I've got to let you go because you've got a meeting to go to.
Yeah, I got to hit the road. I got to drive down to Houston.
And I just want to tell you how much I appreciate you being here. You're just wonderful.
Well, it's always great to see you. Thanks for calling.
Well, listen,
Great
this
to
is
be
only
here.
part one, because I put in there part two comes Thursday. Thursday. You're going to come back.
Okay.
You're going to come back Thursday.
Okay.
And look, he's looking like he didn't know what I'm talking about. You imagine that? But Thursday, you're going to come back, and we're going to do after the election and what we know.
We'll
we
see
may
how
not
right
know
we
much.
were.
Yeah, that's exactly
We
right.
may be crying in our beer.
Yes,
We'll
that's
see.
right.
I don't think so, but
I know.
we'll be prepared for
Yeah,
either
we've
one.
got all that on what you said is going to happen. So we'll see if you're right or not, or if you're a good prognosticator, that word. Anyway, but thank you so much, and we'll go to a break, and we'll be back, and it'll just be Richard and me. Oh, you know how much that's going to... We've got so much to say, and so little time, and so little knowledge about. But anyway, we say it anyway. So have a good day. Have a good meeting.
I will. You too.
I appreciate that.
We'll see you in a couple days.
We'll be right back. You're listening to the Cindy Cochran Show, Real Reality Radio.
Hey, tune into the Bridge Podcast TX Tuesdays at 11 a.m., where we are connecting commerce with community, interviewing business owners and leaders in the community, allowing the audience to peek behind the curtain of what inspires, motivates, drives these individuals to have meaningful, positive impact in this community. For more information about the show, log into irlonestar.com/TBPTX.
Have a legal question? Are you a resident of Montgomery County? Call 281-645-6344 to talk to a volunteer attorney from the Woodlands Bar Association. We answer the phones on the first Monday of every month at 281-645-6344 from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. to provide general legal information and information about legal resources to Montgomery County residents.
Don't forget to download the Lone Star Community Radio app from your Google Play or Apple Store. Bring Montgomery County's community radio with you anywhere with your smartphone or tablet. If you are in the Conroe area, tune in on FM. That's Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1. If you are on the computer, bookmark irlonestar.com as your internet radio station. A Lone Star Community Radio. Broadcasting 24/7 from the heart of downtown Conroe, Texas.
Hey y'all, it's DJ Mike from Dance Time in Texas. Join me Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. as I count down the top 10 Texas Red Dirt songs that are packing the dance floor. I'll be featuring local artists and the story behind the hits, shows in the area, as well as new songs that make you want to dance. It's Dance Time in Texas with DJ Mike on Lone Star Community Radio, 104.5 KCZW and 106.1 KZCC, Conroe, Texas, or online, irlonestar.com.
And we're back on the Cindy Cochran Show, and had been talking to Denton Florian. I love this guy. He's so smart, and I'm going to have him back Thursday so that we can talk about what happens tonight, and maybe we'll know something. But usually it takes, a couple of days. These people vote. There's so many people that have voted this time that it's going to take a long time to count it, and that's what is difficult. But Richard, are you going to go home and sit by the TV and stay up as late as you can?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, because
for sure. Oh.
Are you on the screen? Are you on the screen right now?
I can pull myself up.
You got to pull yourself up, yes, because I think people need to see your reaction to anything I say. The question mark is great on your cap. Where did you get that?
A friend gave it to me.
What does it mean?
It's from a video game.
Oh, okay. All right, fine. So this is what I've been thinking, is that you probably don't listen to a lot of the stations, the news stations, about what's like when they start talking about voting and campaigns and all that stuff.
I read a lot about internet comments. I like that.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. What have you found? What is your sense?
That we're really bad about digesting voting.
We're bad about.
We're bad about counting votes.
Yes. Well,
that's the only thing I can really determine, because there's going to be an issue at one place, and then it's going to blow up and be like, this happened everywhere, and it's like, no, it happened at one place. So that's what I foresee happening.
Yeah, so, that's so scary, because
I've already read a couple places in Harris County had some issues with their voting machines, but I think that they just need to be reset. But in people's mind, that means, they're going to be reset because
they didn't get the right answer they wanted.
Whatever. I mean, I
don't
know.
You know how scary it was, because there were years back that they talked about in Harris County that the machines were changing the vote.
Yeah.
And how scary would that
It's probably
be?
because they left their elbow on the deal while using their right hand to make the vote, but their left elbow was sitting there. Oh, I forgot I was on the keyboard.
I did that. I didn't mean to do it. I meant to art. Well, I never do a straight, one or the other. I never do that.
Yeah.
I want to push the button for everybody that I think is right. But here's what I went in there and I started voting for the school board, and they don't have anything next to them. They don't have a
They're not
R or a
supposed
D. Oh, okay.
Same thing with the county judge here. The county judge, I think all the county judges do not have that. County commissioners don't have that, I think. And then judges.
But on the school board, I would want to
Did
know.
you have people on your show running for school?
Well, yes, so I know about them, but it's not in Willis. I mean, it's like
yeah, true.
it was different.
But no one really cares about Willis.
Shut up! What are you talking about?
Did you know Conroe ISD closed today for voting?
And we didn't, and Willis didn't.
Yeah.
Splendor
That's
closed.
because no one really cares about Willis.
I really am
I'm
so.
kidding. I'm kidding. You know, it's
No,
funny.
but Splendor closed, and in Houston, they closed.
Did Houston close for
Well,
voting? I mean,
Aldine did, and so I just figured Houston
well,
did.
isn't it
so.
like there's like 32 locations in Conroe or Montgomery County that use a school. That's why they closed it, because 32 locations use it as a voting spot.
That's just not fair at all. They should let them off too, because like Samuel can vote now. He's 18. He can vote, and so, but he doesn't have a problem. Is he doesn't have an ID. He hasn't gotten an ID
That's
yet,
typical of teenagers. They don't shower. They don't have IDs.
but he can play games, and but
TikTok is the life.
yes. But he has a whole new life now because he has a girlfriend, sweetest
They
little
met
girl.
on TikTok.
No, she goes to school with him, but she's so sweet. It's really cute. But he's taking much more
At least
interest.
he's not being taken advantage of
Of
because he doesn't have an ID, so he's probably not driving.
No,
So
he's not driving, and so guess who gets to do all the Ubering? Grandma Ubers. Grandma Ubers. That's what.
I can totally see you being an Uber driver.
What do you think I would have in the back seat for the people sitting
Or
there?
I could see you being one of those Google Map drivers.
Oh yeah,
I can see that. I don't know why. I just can see you doing that.
but I could be an Uber.
Or the Uber driver. Like, yeah, you're very talkative, and you're like, oh, here's some sweets.
Yeah, I'd have
Here's some
all.
water.
Yeah, just imagine what the banquet I would have out there for them, because that's what I'd want to feed
Here's
them.
a sack of spaghetti.
Yeah.
Bacon. Here's a trash can to throw it up in.
Okay, I'm gonna try. Shut up. I'm gonna try and take this corner a little easy because you guys might spill
Got
it.
some ice cream.
Yes. Yeah. It wouldn't hurt. But I think that when the kids just wait. When you get your nieces and nephews get old enough and they start dating and stuff, and you're gonna
They
be
are dating.
no, they're not.
Yeah, one's 18.
I'm talking about
My nieces
your
and
sister.
nephews. Yeah.
They're that old.
Yeah.
When you talk about them, I'm thinking they're like 10 years
Well,
old
I
or
have
8
like
years old.
14 of them. So
Oh, good
I
grief.
think the youngest is an infant,
Okay.
meaning like 6 months or something like that. I don't really remember.
And they're
Never really know.
and they're driving and they have girlfriends, and do they
No,
bring
they're
them?
not driving. That's what I'm saying. Every teenager I know does not drive. It's bizarre to me.
I know that's the first thing I
it's-
wanted, to be able to get out of the house and be
Yeah.
on my own drive. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And they don't.
They
They just rather
don't
me
even have an
driving.
ID. They don't have IDs. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy town.
Okay, Hannah, how do you go to the DPS to get an
Yeah, if you turn 16, that's where you go.
and was it you know what it cost is, but I just didn't know what to do. I said I don't know how you get an ID.
I mean, you can probably go on the internet, Cindy, and say, go to the Texas Department of Transportation, whatever it is.
And it'll explain
And
what
it'll
to do.
explain exactly what to bring and all that kind of stuff. Because I know you have to have like a birth certificate and all that kind of craziness because of the new laws with that. Man, what do they call it? It's with the little star on your ID.
What is the star?
It's something they did. I want to say in like 2019 or something like that, where like to get on airplanes and stuff, you see that little star.
Yeah.
It's like you have to go through like a background thing, either like show your birth certificate and all that kind of stuff. I want to say that, but I inadvertently did it because that's what I thought you had to do to renew your license. Because that's what I read. I was like, oh, I got to bring all this stuff. they're like, oh, now you can fly. And I was like, oh, I wasn't intending on flying, so I didn't have to bring all this stuff.
So he's going to have a birth certificate. I'd find out
Pretty
where
sure
that
that's what
is.
you have to
Yeah,
bring.
okay.
Just go online and look at it. Because
Well,
I know
it
it's a new requirement.
Yeah, we'll make it,
Or
that
newer.
makes sense. And then whenever he gets his driver's license, that's totally different. But I just hate the idea of having to go to the DPS. That is the worst place. How long those lines are, it's ridiculous.
It's not that bad.
Yes, it is. Look, the picture on is that your driver's license you showed me?
Yeah.
That picture of you was like 6 years old now, right?
No, you can go online and reserve a spot.
And reserve a spot? You can?
Yeah, that's what I did. Yeah.
So when you walked up there, did you go inside the door?
Yeah, you just reserve. It's like you're making an appointment.
Okay.
Yeah, and they'll say like, oh, show up here around 6:15 or 3:15, and you get there early. You sign in and you type in your email address and all that kind of stuff. It's all in kiosks. Like you don't talk to anybody.
Okay.
And it's like, all right, great, you're here. There you go, and you wait like 5-10 minutes if you're on time.
That's amazing because I couldn't believe how long out it was like raining that day, and having to renew my license, and I thought I'm never going to renew my license again. I don't care.
Well, see, it's kind of weird because I know, like, for me, I had to go in. I guess it was just for the STAR deal. Like, you have to go in and get the STAR on your license. You can't just go online and say I did it. So, yeah, that's.
They stamp it on there?
Yeah.
It's just this.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you haven't learned anything in this program, if you learned that you can call and make an appointment.
I think it just depends on
to the
your
DPS.
local DPS, like which DPS you go to.
Well,
Some are updated, some are not. I bet some of them are still old school. We have to wait like 4 hours.
Well, Conroe. I mean, you have to go to the Conroe one, right? The one that's on.
You can go to any DPS.
You can? I thought you had to go to the one where you lived in in Montgomery.
Why would that? They don't give you Conroe licenses.
Well, no, but I mean, I thought.
Like, say you lose your license.
Yeah.
And you're traveling in Texas. What are you supposed to do? They're like, oh, you have to go back to Conroe to get your license.
No, that's right. I went to Lubbock.
Yeah.
And I got my license there because I'd lost.
Yeah.
Oh,
Come on, Cindy.
true. Okay, I'm with you. Anyway, but that you can make an appointment though. That's amazing, if they allow it. So because my cousin went by and he would video how long the lines were about having to wait, and it's just I thought this is all over the place. The lines are horrible, so we'll have to do that. Okay, it will be okay. All right, thank you. So anyway, you've already voted, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you voted. Who'd you vote for?
None of your business.
You won't tell me? Okay. You know, that's anybody that answers that, then you say they must be a. I'm not gonna say. And
Fascist. That's my favorite word these days. It's a fascist.
Fascist?
Well, especially with like the Beto and Abbott thing, it's like it's so crazy. I love it. Like just hearing people talk about it, I'm like, man, that's all right. Okay.
Do you love how when he says things, when he talks about what he's going to do and all the programs he wants to implement and start, do you believe all that, or do you feel like he's just saying?
He kind of shot himself in the foot when the last time he was running, saying that he's like, yeah, I'll take away your guns.
Right.
You can't really defend that. Even if he says, oh, I didn't mean it. It's like, that's not a good look, man. Like, so basically you could tell me anything you want today, but tomorrow you'd be like, oh, I didn't really mean that. It's like,
right.
I guess you're a politician. Like, yeah. But yeah, I think that he really, that's what's so funny to me about that. Like, I feel like that mistake, or that the way he said that, was in a certain context, which I don't think or the way I understood it, he didn't mean everybody. He meant, if you're dangerous, like a mental / there's a reason behind it. It was something. It was a reacting to a question. He didn't just come out of go on social media and be like, "Yeah, we're gonna take away your guns." It was something about background checks and all this stuff. He's like, yeah, if you fail that, we're gonna take away your guns.
You think there was?
That's what I think he was responding to. But the way he said it, it's like, in general, you're like, whoa, man.
Yeah, because he said,
Yeah.
we're going to take those guns.
Shot himself in the foot with that one. And if he tries to backtrack, it's not a good look. So.
Well, it's like Fetterman, they said, do you believe in fracking now? And he said, I've always believed in fracking. And then the commentator said, well, back in that, you said you would never let them
then he
do
goes,
fracking.
Well, I had a brain injury, so you have to be patient. I mean, that would be nuts. But
since that stroke, I'm really for it now. So I really like fracking. And everything that he was told, somebody told him, like, you better come around and you better start talking about education.
Well, I think that's the scary part with politics, especially with people who are either under the influence of like a medical procedure or, that's all they want to do. And then in the long run, it's like, is this really healthy for our democracy to have people like this allowed to run? And then again, it's like anyone can put their name in the hat, so go for it, I guess.
Well, that's what
you can vote them out the next time.
Everybody needs to get out and
unlike
vote.
Trump, I want Trump to go full dictator. I was like, people have been saying it. Do it, man. Let's see what happens.
He's going to make this announcement next Tuesday on what's going to happen.
Well, he's going to come out and be like, I never actually lost. Oh, he's already done that. That's right. So I was like, so he's been actually the secret president for the entire time.
Right. Yes. Overseeing his flock. Yes. Anyway.
Oh, you know what? Can you imagine, Cindy?
What?
His grandkids or whatever, and he's like 90 years old, and it's like, oh, that's just grandpa. Or that's just great-granddad. That kind of, because he's probably going to be the same type of person.
Sure.
He's going along with all these like lines, trying to swindle people, like tell them all these big stories. Like, yeah, sure, granddad.
You were president, yeah, right. I'm sure you were president, yeah. And you were on a movie with Macaulay Culkin, and did you see that when he was in the hotel?
Yeah, he directed Macaulay Culkin Where to Go in New York.
But Trump was like had a little cameo.
Yeah, that was his line. Was like, oh yeah, you just go down to the left or something like that.
Oh, he was giving directions. That's right. That was so cute. Okay, anyway, listen, tomorrow we're going to talk Astros. Oh, Astros are so proud of you. You won the World Series, and we hadn't talked about that. And Richard hadn't said happy birthday to me, but it's okay. It's all right.
I think we had this problem last time. I can't know your birthday unless you tell me it's your birthday.
You have Facebook, don't you? Don't you have Facebook?
I don't check that every day.
That's what tells me everybody's birthday is when Facebook comes on and says,
You know what's funny then?
Ding, 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 ding.
You know what's funny? I think my wife told me, I know your show's about to go off, but she said that people who were born within 10 days during the World Series was people whose parents conceived on Valentine's Day.
Oh, really?
Give or take, around that time period. Yeah.
Okay, but I was born way back in 1948.
Well, I'm saying that's probably when they did it. It's on Valentine's Day.
Okay. How
Just
sweet,
just
how
letting you know,
romantic.
that's so
It's so
romantic. You're a
romantic.
Valentine's Day
But
baby.
you still forgot to say happy birthday. Anyway,
Happy
okay.
birthday.
So, anyway, we're going to have a good time tomorrow. Jimmy the C's going to be here. We're going to talk baseball and Rockets and Texans and all that. But anyway, please be with us, and thank you so much for joining us today. And the show is going up right now on YouTube, and you can watch Denton's part. His part was really good. It was really good. All right, thank you so much. And first responders, we love you. We love you. We love you. And better than that, God loves you. God loves you. Okay.